Good afternoon. Warm welcome to the parents and students in the chapel this afternoon. It is a special honor to be asked to introduce the baccalaureate ceremony today for the class of 2013. Graduation is always momentous, all the more so upon leaving an institution with such powerful memories and folkways as the University of Chicago. The college has always been a transformative place, and it does this with each generation of students. One generation comes to the university and gains a magnificent education, an education that transforms and enriches our lives. And then that generation helps the next generation, and the process continues up to the present day. A ceremony such as this reminds us not only of who we are and what we have become, but also what we stand for. For over 100 years, the college has been a place of vibrant courage and openness to innovation and change, populated by faculty and students who are willing to act on their intellectual convictions. To think about the totality of the education we offer is to think about the most precious gift we can give to you, our students, a mind enlivened by creativity and curiosity, a person strengthened by self-confidence and confidence in the world, and a life enriched by the love of learning. Our college is all about freedom to learn, not only in the sense of learning something, but also in the more powerful sense of becoming something. President Robert Maynard Hutchins put this well when he argued that, quote, "What is it that makes the University of Chicago a great institution? It is the intense, strenuous, constant intellectual activity of the place," Hutchins responded. "We like to think that the air is electric, and that from it the student derives an intellectual stimulation that lasts for the rest of his or her life." We live in a university community that values and recognizes individual achievement and that tries to create circumstances that make such achievement possible in all domains of human creativity. The capacity of the university to sustain true academic freedom is hinged on our ability to teach you, our students, from the very beginning of your academic careers at Chicago, the value of action that is informed by the thoughtfulness of reflection. Without an undergraduate student body that accepts the authentic practices of academic freedom, and they're often controversial, the university's ability as a community to sustain our often controversial intellectual traditions would have been and would be in the future severely impeded. In teaching you how to differentiate good from bad ideas, sound from faulty reasoning, and precise from imprecise arguments, our curriculum has had a powerful seeding effect in the training of generations of college students in what I would call the skills of a scholar: intellectual engagement, dispassion in the midst of controversy, and courage in the face of intellectual uncertainty. A college such as ours is not something to be taken for granted. It is not engraved in nature, and we cannot simply assume that it'll always be what we would like it to be unless we take good care of it. Our distinguished traditions and practices and the extraordinarily talented students and faculty who are members of our community make this college a very special national institution, and it deserves the support of all of us. We have to make certain that our community is as strong and effective for those who come after us as it has been for our generation and for the past generations of students and faculty who came before us. In fact, I believe that we must make the future of the university and the college even better than its past by making the college still stronger in the future. I want to thank you for having journeyed with us for these 4 years. I want to thank you for your extraordinary love and friendship that you've given to each other and to the university community. I want to thank you for your support of the college. I offer you my warmest congratulations on your many achievements over these past 4 years. You are indeed the salt of our earth, and we are very, very proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean Boyer. Good afternoon, my fellow classmates, family, and friends, and I want to thank you all for attending the baccalaureate ceremony today, where we will be celebrating the last 4 years that we have shared at the college. My name is Julianne Zong, and I am the co-chair for the Baccalaureate Committee on Senior Week. The Baccalaureate Committee, as well as the rest of the Senior Week Committee and the staff at CPO and Rockefeller Chapel have worked extremely hard to put together this entire event, as well as the entire week's worth of festivities today. So please give them another round of applause. I'm so happy that this day has finally arrived today, and I'm excited to present to you the Class of 2013 tile, a contribution that each class makes to the college. Our class tile and the class tiles of every year before us will become permanent features of the Arlie D. Cathing Learning Center, representing our class's unique perspective while contributing to the college's overall vision. Our tile this year was designed by Olivia Ortiz and Nicholas Pop, who is a member of the Baccalaureate Committee. As we graduate tomorrow, we will have each made our own personal contribution to the university, and this tile represents our class's chance to leave something behind together. If you go to the Arlie D. Cathing Learning Center, you will find that our tile is significantly different compared to the ones of previous classes. It'll be unique in comparison, just like our class was. We were the first to apply through the Common Application, and we were the first to live in South Campus Residence Hall. These are only just 2 traits and only 2 accomplishments that we have achieved. If you look closely at our tile, the background is a picture of our campus, specifically the arches between Harper and Stewart. Nick and Olivia wanted to limit the text and have the picture represent everything. The picture represents the amount of time spent on campus, 70% of which was probably trying to hide the snow or the hail or the rain, things like that. The picture represents the classes that we took, where we were challenged by our peers and professors, and where I personally learned to do the Lagrangian over and over and over again. Finally, the picture represents the beauty of our campus and everything that we have loved about our university, all of which I'm sure we will miss as we part ways tomorrow. So, tomorrow is graduation, and these 4 years have passed really quickly, much faster than I think any of us have anticipated. While our time at the university has come to an end, our tile will go on to represent everything that the class of 2013 has done to continue the UChicago tradition. My fellow graduates, as we close our last week here, may we enjoy the last moments that we will be together as the class of 2013. So thank you everyone for attending today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the ceremony. Thank you.
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Bad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Grown music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back question. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people. Spread spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Now, can I kick it? Thank you, yeah, I'm so grateful. I grew up really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me, go hard like I got an 808 in my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on shark. We raw, time to go up, gone, deuces goodbye. I got a world to see, and my girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer, nah, I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people. Now, sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands, this is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching.
Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
The memories that we will recount were compiled from the submissions of the members of the graduating class. The memories expressed by the readers are not their own. An effort has been made to include experiences common to the class of 2013. Favorite roommate moments. My best roommate memory was when my suite mates ordered a 60-inch TV, an inflatable couch, Guitar Hero, Netflix, and a lifetime supply of popcorns, and I wondered why I wasn't as productive afterwards. My best roommate memory was when my roommates accidentally broke the radiator, leaving it stuck on high. It was one hot night. My best roommate memory was when we pushed the sofa 7 blocks on bed rails along Woodlawn Avenue, all while making references to Plato. My best roommate memory happened when the fire alarm went off in Max Pilevsky and we all slept through it. And it was a real fire. My best roommate memory was when I didn't feel like talking across the room, so I sent a Facebook message to him to tell him something. All-nighters. My first all-nighter was first year, spring quarter. By 2 a.m., I was finished with my 3rd essay, the perfect time to start studying for my Gen Chem final at 10 a.m. My first all-nighter, I was at a party on the first Friday of my first quarter. At some point, I realized, this is fun, but math homework sounds like a lot more fun. So I headed to the reg and worked on my calculus homework. My first all-nighter, I talked to the prettiest girl in the house all night instead of doing homework. My first all-nighter, I watched Stephen Colbert instead of writing my Hume paper.
Athletic memories. My favorite athletic memory was when my RH hit one of the girls on the opposing house's intramural team in the face with a dodgeball. My favorite athletic memory was setting a personal and conference record in my last home competition at Ratner. Achieving such an amazing score in front of my teammates, friends, and family was amazing, and I cannot imagine a better way to finish off my UChicago athletic career. My favorite athletic memory was hosting UAA swimming and diving championships at our pool this year. My favorite athletic memory was hearing about Wild Bill's All-American cross-country and track titles. My favorite athletic memory was when UChicago's men's basketball team came from behind to take down NYU. My favorite athletic memory was making the game-winning three-pointer in the Chicago Basketball League, 7 to 8 from 3 overall. Oh yeah! How did I get here? My first time wondering if they made a mistake in accepting me was when I got a B- on my first Hume paper. Walking out of class with other students complaining about their B+ grades, I heard one kid say, "I got a B-, and I'm honestly pretty content with it." I was like, "Yeah, me too." To which he responded, "It was the first essay I've ever wrote in English." Oof. My first time wondering if they made a mistake in accepting me was when I was accepted off the wait list, so it took me about a year to get over the anxiety. I wish I could tell all the waitlisted students that you'll probably end up succeeding far beyond your peers. My first time wondering if they made a mistake in accepting me was when I realized fourth year that I didn't know what the heck the standard model of utility was. My first time wondering if they made a mistake in accepting me was when I got a 33% on a test in Chemistry 101.
Chicago winters. My most vivid memory of the Chicago winters was snowpocalypse. UChicago was the absolute last school to shut down in Chicago. When we finally got the email at 2 a.m., you can hear yells of joy all up and down the dorm. People ran out of the rooms excited, and we celebrated in the hallways. My most vivid memory of the Chicago winters was crossing the Midway in 5-degree weather to turn in a Hume paper during first year. I will never forget my icy eyelashes. My most vivid memory of the Chicago winters was walking from Harper to BJ during the snowpocalypse. The Midway looked like the surface of the moon, and we couldn't see anything more than 3 feet ahead. My most vivid memory of the Chicago winters was riding the Red Line in the freezing cold, without pants on a house trip. My most vivid memory of Chicago winters was that one time I did Cuvia. Crazy people. My most vivid memory of the Chicago winters was when I went out to sled with my friends on the Midway after a snowstorm and ended up on the news. My most vivid memory of the Chicago winters was during the snowpocalypse. I went to the ski shop, dismayed that I could not have my weekly shake because of the snow. On my own. I first realized I was on my own and my parents were not here when I realized that I did not know how to do laundry. I first realized I was on my own and my parents were not here when vegetarian food started meaning pasta and rice, not real food. I first realized I was on my own and my parents were not here when my daily diet consisted of overeating pizza and ice cream in the dining hall. I first realized I was on my own and my parents were not here the second night of a week. There was a scary bug in my bathroom and I killed it all by myself. I first realized I was on my own and my parents were not here when I started going to bed at 6 a.m. Take that, Mom. I first realized I was on my own and my parents were not here when I left them at Hull Gate.
So this is what you meant when you said that you were spent. And now it's time to build from the bottom of the pit right to the top. Don't hold back. Packing my bags and giving the academy a rain check. I don't ever want to let you down. I don't ever want to leave this town. 'Cause after all, the city never sleeps at night. It's time to begin, isn't it? I get a little bit bigger, but then I'll admit I'm just the same as I was. Now don't you understand that I'm never changing who I am? So this is where you fell, and I'm left to tell. The path to heaven runs through miles of cloud and hell right to the top. Don't hold back. Turn in the rags and giving the commodities a rain check. I don't ever want to let you down. The city never sleeps at night. I get a little bit bigger, just the same as I was. Now don't you understand I'm never changing who I am? This road never looked so lonely. This house doesn't burn down slowly. To ashes, to ashes, to ashes.
Go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up. Like the ceiling can't hold us, like the ceiling can't hold us.
Return to the Mac, get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get about it, but instead of getting on the internet, check and see who we can get up. Fresh out, pimp, start walking, little bit of humble, little bit of cautious. In the middle like Rocky or Cosby, sweater gang, no, y'all can't copy. Yup, there, we're walking. This here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all with grown music. I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it, and yet I'm on. So let the stage light go and shine on down. I got that Bob Barker suit game and Playgo in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds, but I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, I'm an INDEPENDENT shit hustler, bustin' the party with the bar track, bustin' out big across the city with the fat cat caution. Labels out here, man, nah, they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people and spread it across the country. Labels out here, nah, they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people and spread it across the country.
We go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up. Like the ceiling can't hold us, like the ceiling can't hold us.
Awkward moments. The most awkward moment was when the person I flirted with on OkCupid turned out to be my TA. The most awkward moment was when I saw my professor at a bar and offered to buy him a drink. He ignored me. The most awkward moment was when my crush said hi to me in South Campus dining hall during my first year, and I literally dropped my tray in shock. The most awkward moment was when I got out of the shower during a fire drill. The most awkward moment was the time I tried to leave class before it started to go back to my dorm room, and just as I grabbed the doorknob to exit, my professor was on the other side trying to open the door to enter. Visiting campus. My first time on campus, it was cold, raining, and I still saw people in Harry Potter costume attire walking the quads having a grand old time. My first time on campus, I went to Harold's. My first time on campus, I heard 2 students planning a study date on a Friday night. I knew it was the right school for me. My first time on campus, I put the wrong address for South Campus in the GPS, so we ended up on 63rd and Ellis, which was not renovated like it is now. My dad commented nonchalantly that the dorm didn't look very new.
Memories from O Week. During O Week, I got lost on my way to my Chicago Life meeting. During O Week, I went to buy a watermelon with another first year in my house. He said, "It's a tradition in Russia to share a watermelon with new friends." We shared the watermelon with a whole bunch of people in our house. Turns out, Russia doesn't have an abundance of watermelons, and that was a lie. We became really great friends. During O Week, I stood at the top of Hancock, realizing that I did not know anyone in sight. Maneuvering the tight corners of the building and dining on spring rolls, I found the 3 people who I knew there. Years later, I would sign a lease with them for my first apartment. During O Week, I felt incredibly guilty about not reading for the Chicago Life meetings. Memories about skipping class. I skipped class because I got locked into my room, and I hadn't finished my problem set. My professor was not convinced, to say the least. In our 3rd year, 2 friends and I lived together, and we decided it would be a great idea to all enroll in the same English class. We figured that we could alternate skipping a class and fill each other in on what we'd missed. Of course, what actually ended up happening was that bad behavior was contagious, and whenever one person wanted to skip a class, we all wanted to skip and hang out with each other instead. And so we actually ended up skipping 3 times as often as we would have normally. I skipped class to do homework for another class. I skipped class for every single experimental physical chemistry class this quarter except for the very first one.
Things and places I will always remember about UChicago. I will always remember the amount of people in the reg during finals week, commiserating together in the library. I will always remember the Harper cubicles, best tutors ever. I will always remember how the campus is always changing for the better. South Campus, Mansueto, Logan, and I was overcome with joy the day we were blessed with a red mango. I will always remember when I woke up late and had to hitchhike to my econ final. I will always remember Dollar Shake Day. It made Wednesdays a bit more bearable. I will always remember the times where I woke up in my bed on a weekend morning, not knowing how I got there, but happy that I got home. I will always remember all the socially awkward people who have become my closest, dearest friends. You have truly been there for me, regardless of the distance. I will always remember how my residents threw me in Botany Pond at the end of my first year as an RA. I will always remember the 5th floor book stacks where the track team did their run during finals week. I will always remember my sorority sisters, always and forever. I will always remember the swim team. We are the best. I will always remember Paul Sally. I will always remember taking my sunglasses to the reg at night because I knew it would be sunny by the time I left. I will always remember taking Fogel's class, so many stories about spinach. And we all have our favorite University of Chicago traditions. Watching the sun during Cuvia, Shake Day, Scav Hunt, Interfraternity Sing, the Polar Bear Run, crying after finals, not stepping on the seal, trivia night at the pub, always a fantastic time with incredibly smart people who know the most random facts about the world, and last but not least, going to Jimmy's.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce to you this year's speaker, Larry Lawrence McInerney. Did I get it right? Larry has worked for the university since he came to Hyde Park in 1978 to work toward a PhD in English. He also has worked as a writing consultant for a range of international law firms, businesses, government agencies, and other organizations. Upon his return to the college, he again began teaching, winning the university's prestigious Quantrell Teaching Award in 1997. He is currently resident master in South Campus and director of the University of Chicago Writing Program. One of his former students commented that Larry prefers his students and clients to think of language not as what do I want to say, but how do I want to say it. He is a professor that believes in the philosophy of language, that words are not merely information, that they must do something, that they must have a connection with someone. His most recent class was speech writing, Reagan and Obama, and he also teaches Little Red Schoolhouse for 2 quarters per year. As for his students, he has quite a loyal following at the university. Many members of the class of 2013 have had him for Hume, and since have taken other classes from him. One student described him as a professor that wants more from his students than to merely listen. He wanted us to comment, to attempt to understand our own thoughts and language, and be able to explain it to others. To be in his class is to question everything you say and wonder if that was what you really meant. So, without further ado, and before I say something I apparently may not mean, please welcome Larry McInerney.
Thank you. And thank you, Andrea. You got it right. It is a great privilege to be with you all today in this wondrous space and for this splendid ceremony. It is an honor on any occasion to be in the company of John Boyer, and I also want to thank my great friend Lori Hurwitz and everyone at the College Programming Office for once again making the magic happen. It is a particular pleasure for me to have been invited to share this occasion with my classmates. I say classmates because it was in September of 2009, just 2 weeks before your first move-in, that Kathy and I began our stint as resident masters and moved into our apartment in South Campus East. I promise you that you were not more nervous than we were, and you were not more excited. And in the last 4 years, you have not learned more than we have learned, and you cannot possibly have found more joy than we have found in your company. So with your permission, Kathy and I hold ourselves to be honorary members of the class of 2013. My assignment from your baccalaureate committee is to offer a comic and ironic reflection on the values that adhere to an education from the University of Chicago. I am also instructed to make it short, by which the committee themselves took care of the irony. The Remains of Education address has now been given many times, and several of my colleagues have presented their opinions about what remains from a University of Chicago education. I stress the word opinions because, as far as I can tell, none of these distinguished scholars, however expert in their fields, had anything like legitimate arguments to support what they said. They made highly dubitable claims about what remains from a Chicago education based on little more than their own speculations. If your predecessors had been living out the values of their Chicago education, they would have risen up and demanded evidence, not to mention warrants. You will not have to be so vigilant. I actually know what remains from a University of Chicago education. I did not study here as an undergraduate, but I did arrive on campus in 1978 as a master's student. Several of my master's courses were cross-listed in the college, and all of the others certainly could have been. So I hope I do not offend the class of 2013 or the college alumni here present when I claim that I have had something at least very similar to an undergraduate education at the University of Chicago. You want to know what adheres from that education? I can tell you, for at least one alumnus, exactly what remains from a University of Chicago education. First, incompletes. If you have had any incompletes while you're here, they will live with you forever. I recently asked our registrar to dig up my yellowing transcript, and I find not only 2 courses that show an I next to a grade, but 1 course that is still completely blank. I could have sworn I wrote that paper for medieval epic, but apparently not. The bad news is that incompletes remain forever. The good news is no one will care. Second, weirdly specific spatial nightmares. When many people are under stress, they take out their fears in dreams. Those who have not had the benefit of a University of Chicago education report that they deal with stress by dreaming of minor terrors like falling from an airplane or being naked in public places. When I am under stress, I dream about University of Chicago classrooms. When under moderate stress, I dream that I have been abandoned in an enormous lecture hall, which extends infinitely up over my head, infinitely down below my feet, and I am utterly alone. I'm pretty sure that's Kent 107. Under greater stress, I dream that I am held in restraints in a dingy, stuffy, windowless, claustrophobic, cinder block prison cell where I cannot move, stretch, shift, or breathe. I know that's pick 16. If things are really bad, I'm in that same cell, but I have to take an exam, only I'm engulfed in darkness. That's Heinz 101. And under the most extreme stress, I dream, of course, that I'm in Regenstein. Nothing is exaggerated. It looks exactly like Regenstein. Apparently, Regenstein can handle any quantity of stress. Third, faculty detecting radar. I still retain from my Chicago education an exquisite internal radar that can detect from across the quad the approach of professors I do not want to meet. Back in the day, I would dread meeting professors to whom I owed a paper or in whose class I had said something especially humiliating. Either way, my Chicago education has left me with a bat-like ability to detect incoming faculty and a ferret's dexterity for avoiding them. This radar works nearly everywhere in Hyde Park. The puzzling exception is the grocery store. There's some kind of force field around Treasure Island, which not only defeats faculty detecting radar, but transforms it into its opposite. Treasure Island is a magnet for exactly those professors you'd least want to meet. It's not just that you run your grocery cart into them when you turn the corner of the canned fruit aisle. That's bad enough, but infinitely worse is having them behind you in the checkout line. There is nothing worse at the University of Chicago, possibly nothing worse in the known universe, than the pit of your stomach realization that the person standing behind you at the checkout line is that professor to whom you owe a paper. You cannot move forward, you cannot retreat, you cannot escape. Severus Snape is looming behind you, and you will spend the next 10 minutes pretending that you have not noticed. On the other hand, what also remains from your education is the ability to empty a grocery cart without turning your head. Finally, and I'm going to change the tone on you here, one of the things that remains from an education at the University of Chicago is love. I've been around for more than 30 years of Chicago debates about education, and I can tell you that love is almost never mentioned. But I can tell you also that love not merely remains from your education, it abides. In saying this, I do not mean to gloss over the dark side. I don't mean in the least that my Chicago education was all sweetness and light. On the contrary, this place has drawn from me just about every dark emotion that I have. I have been very angry at this university. I have been outraged by it. I have resented it, scorned it, cursed it, and hated it. And perhaps explaining a lot about those emotions, I have most of all greatly feared it. It seems to be acceptable around here to talk about the anger and the resentment. It is even respectable to talk about the fear. But it doesn't seem to be quite intellectually respectable to speak about love. Yet I do want to end by speaking of love. But to do so, I need to change the focus. I have so far spoken of what has remained with me from my own education. I want to end by what will remain with me from your education. You have let me be part of your years at Chicago, and I want to say a word about what will remain with me from having shared in the education of the students of 2013. Most of you, if you know me at all, know me as a lecturer in the Little Red Schoolhouse. But I have had the great good fortune to work with some of you in small classes, in seminars, at house tables, at Friday afternoon tea, and in long one-on-one conversations up in my office, tucked away in a hard-to-find corner of the West Tower of Harper. We've sat together, you and I, up in that office on late afternoons, hurling ourselves against Nietzsche, scrambling after Wittgenstein, knocking holes in our own arguments, trying desperately to construct a decent intellectual problem, a problem that will challenge what we know, or even better, a problem that will challenge the ways we think. All this is very hard work, and it takes a long time. I can't speed it up because I don't have good answers. I don't even have good questions. It is precisely our task to create good questions. I have to think right alongside you, and thinking takes a lot of time. If the afternoon is in winter, it has started to get dark, but we don't even notice until Ted Cohen walks by and laughs and reminds us that we really ought to turn on the lights. Sometimes the process is exhilarating because we can feel something like progress, but much more often it's scary. because we're not getting anywhere. Worse, it feels like we're going backward because we're having to give up things we thought we knew. And to you, that feels like failure. It doesn't feel like failure to me. I'm very well accustomed to being wrong and being stuck. But you're not used to being wrong or being stuck. You're not used to not knowing the answers, and you don't like it much. I can see in your eyes that you fear it, you resent it, and you are angry with me. But at the moment of crisis, at the moment when you remember there's nothing holding you here, there's nothing that stops you from just walking out the door, you stay and you keep at it. You don't back down and you don't back away. You bring to bear your intelligence and your courage. And you give me the priceless gift of letting me sit with you while you create your education. I do not know what remains with you from this, your education, but I know what remains with me. Over in our apartment at East, we have many of Kathy's subtle and intricate needlework on our walls. But the first stitched piece she wanted in our apartment is a very plain work that hangs in our kitchen and says simply this: some people come into our lives and quickly go. Others stay a while and leave footprints in our hearts, and we are never the same. On behalf of Kathy and all my colleagues on the faculty and staff, I say to you that your footprints will remain in our hearts, and we will never be the same. And I can only hope that in some way we have done the same for you. Because even though we at Chicago are not very good at talking about it, love is something that remains from the education we have shared in this place together. Godspeed to you all, my friends, and thank you.
कर्मण्य वाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्म फल हेतुर्भुर माते संगोस्त्व कर्मणि. This is one of the most famous sayings from the Hindu epic Mahabharata. Here Lord Krishna propels his disciple Arjun to perform his duties while staying selfless to his level of success or failure. He urges him to not think of the fruit of action and thus relinquish any attachment to it in the field of activity. He who gives up all desires and moves free from attachment, disappointment, and egoism attains inner peace in life. Let peace grow from more to more,
and so be life enriched.
From Carl Sagan, alumnus of the University of Chicago. We embarked on our journey to the stars with a question first framed in the childhood of our species, and in each generation asked anew with undiminished wonder. What are the stars? Exploration is in our nature. We began as wanderers, and we are wanderers still. We have lingered long enough on the shores of the cosmic ocean. We are ready at last to set sail for the stars. Let wonder grow from more to more,
and so be life enriched.
From the book of Proverbs. If you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding, Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Let wisdom grow from more to more,
and so be life enriched.
From the book of Corinthians. So we do not lose heart. Though our outer self is wasting away, our inner self is being renewed day by day. For this light momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are unseen are eternal. Let faith grow from more to more,
and so be life enriched.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In the first chapter of the Quran, we ask, after glorifying God of His greatness, we ask Him for His mercy and guidance in all of our actions. Let mercy grow from more to more,
and so be life enriched.
ידי נפש אברהם משוח עבדך אל רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו היה ישתחווה muhadarach ki erhavlo yedidutach minofetsuf ve'oltam.
This is Yedid Nefesh, the opening prayer of Friday night Shabbat services. It pleads for the presence of the divine and exalts. I will run swift as a deer to bow before your majesty. For your love is sweeter to me than any honey from the comb, than any pleasing savor. Let love grow from more to more, and so be life enriched.
Let knowledge grow from more to more, and so be life enriched.
Good afternoon. My name is Dorothy Mangale, and I'm a member of the class of 2012. Before I begin, I would like to ask all the members of the class of 2013 sitting in the inner aisle to look under their seats. There you'll find a bag of alumni pins. Please take one pin and pass the bag down the row. Hold on to the pins as you will need them later. My first year as an alum has unearthed a clearer understanding and deeper appreciation for my own time at UChicago. At about the same time last year, I was walking around beaming and excited, ready to take the next step into the professional world. What I found when I got there was the truth about our uniquely UChicago way of living and serving. I constantly found myself asking questions that dig deeper, spending long hours at work to push projects further, and leveraging what I knew to build relationships and solve public health problems in Chicago's Austin neighborhood. The university offers a rigorous and wholesome education that has enabled me to face life's challenges, fascinations, and riches with confidence that they could be described, met, understood, and cherished forever. UChicago graduates are, as you may well know, intellectually curious, committed to digging deep, and are refreshingly diverse in their talents and interests. Whether it be in conducting research, devising novel methods for use in problem solving in math, science, and various aspects of the humanities, UChicago students are always ready for a challenge. Beyond that, they are eager to engage in service, bettering relationships between themselves and their communities. Class of 2013, consider yourselves a part of the university's very special human capital, a community of soon-to-be alumni with a command of tools that will continue to set you apart from your peers in the professional world. And to add to the transformative education, Class of 2013, you are graduating into a like-minded alumni community that is as passionate about the life of the mind as it is about its commitment to enriching our society. So although tomorrow marks the end of what has been 4 years of great college friendships, distinctly quirky conversations, and unmatched learning opportunities, your alumni experience is beginning, and this experience will last your entire lifetime. Now please turn to the person sitting next to you and pin him or her with the alumni pin. He or she will do the same for you. As graduates of the class of 2013, I welcome you to our alumni community. Whether you will be in Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., LA, London, Nairobi, Kenya, or Cape Town, South Africa, you are now part of a network of thousands of alumni. You can stay connected with your peers and forge new relationships through alumni clubs that exist in many cities throughout the world. The traditional alumni pinning is the first step in forging these binds. And now, as a fellow alumni of the University of Chicago, I welcome you to our Alumni Association and congratulate you on all your achievements. Now, I ask that you please rise, and if you're able to, join us in singing our alma mater.
One closing instruction, if I may. To everyone here who is a family member or friend, please do not try to leave the chapel until all the class of 2013 have processed out behind their banner. Again, please remain in your places until all the graduating students have processed out, and then come outside to find them. You will find them there. Class of 2013, we celebrate you. We celebrate your knowledge, your wisdom, accumulated day by day these past 4 years. And we look with you to where it will take you, for we will never stop asking of you new focus, new heights, the stretching of your well-disciplined strengths, in the words of poet Rainer Maria Rilke. This is what Rilke says: just as the winged energy of delight carried you over many chasms early on, now raise the daringly imagined arch, holding up the astounding bridges. Miracle doesn't lie only in the amazing living through and defeat of danger. Miracles become miracles in the clear achievement that is earned. To work with things is not hubris. When building the association beyond words, denser and denser the pattern becomes. Being carried along is not enough. But for this weekend at least, may you be carried along by those who have supported and loved you thus far, by the delight that you may justly feel, by the anticipation of all that lies ahead. And then, as Rilke concludes, may your works, your being, become the continuing unfolding of the universe. At this springtime of your lives, may summer's promise beckon and every hope be brought to fruition. Go in peace, go in wisdom, go in joy.